Well, there it is, folks. It is time once again to embark on our journey deep into the bowels of the paranormal portal. That just doesn't sound right at all. That did not sound right at all either. It just sounded wrong. And I do apologize for that. But if you're brand new to the show, get used to it because I do that kind of stupidity all the time. That's how I roll. Special thanks to Matt Knapp of Bigfoot Crossroads. I appeared on his show, which released today. We recorded it earlier this week, but we had a great talk. Matt is always a lot of fun to talk to. He and I just spitball ideas real well and have a good time. So if you haven't heard that, I hope you listen. It was kind of a different interview for me, not just me recapping I almost said recanting. Recapping my own experiences, but we just dove into ideas and discussions about a lot of this paranormal stuff. Some of it you may have heard before here on the show if you've been around for a while, but maybe some of it you haven't. So I don't know. I hope you'll have a listen though and support Matt. Again, Bigfoot Crossroads is a great guy, and we had a good talk. So he's going to be coming on the portal pretty quick. I got a full boat of interviews coming up. And really looking forward to those. I did a great interview this week earlier. Well, I mean, they're all great interviews. Don't get me wrong. But this gentleman's name was Nomar Slevik, and he is coming on this next week's podcast. And just a wonderful guy. He's an author, and we talked about a lot of UFO stuff and his own experiences, ideas, et cetera, et cetera. So I just had a couple of really fantastic discussions this last week. And I got Tommy Callum coming up pretty quick from Let's Get Freaky podcast. He and I are going to record on Monday, as well as Matt Knapp is coming on the portal as well. So we got a few episodes coming. They'll be released weekly, of course, but just kind of cool. I like when I've got an abundance of interviews and not the attrition of no interviews. It's like, I better figure out a show. Not that there's any shortage of things to talk about, but if you haven't caught the Paranormal Portal podcast, I hope you guys will check it out. It is available on all the podcasting platforms. Whatever you listen to, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, CastBox, Google Play, and Podbean. So many other good pods. There's so many of them out there, and we should be on all of them. I should be on all of them, so look, and if you find a platform I'm not on, please let me know, because I'll reach out to my label at Libsyn and say, hey, there's one we're not on, and try to get that out there as well. But I think we're on all of them. I don't think there's any other ones out there. So that's the good news. And but anyway, I hope you guys will check that out. Excuse me. Just had a little gulp of water and obviously got some air with it. But great to see you all. Happy Friday as usual, as we embark on our weekend journey here on the Paranormal Portal. And once again, thank you all so much for being here and spending a part of your weekend with me. I just can't think of much of a bigger honor than that. Well, the fact that you guys show up anytime is a huge honor. But, Fridays, I remember when Fridays were like everything's like, oh, we got to go out, we got to hit the clubs, we got to do blah, blah, whatever. But you guys are my people. This is our club, I guess. And I'm thrilled that you guys chose to come here and hang out with me while I do these shows. So thank you so much. Again, we do these live shows every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and whatever that means for your time zone, you'll have to sort out for yourself. But that's the guidelines. And so if you want to catch a live show, that's when to do it. However, if you can't catch the live show, I hope you guys will listen when you're able. It's okay. You can watch the video on demand too. I'm still always floored, and it happens all the time, that I get messages from people. Oh, sorry, I had to miss the live show. It's like, wow, you don't need to apologize to me. I'm just thrilled you watch when you can. And so thank you for that. But I always do that. Good evening to you, Brent Thomas, brother. Hey, Jason Finch. Jason, you are everywhere, brother. Every show I stop into, you're there. And Jason gets around, man. But it's good to see you, man. Thanks for coming in and being a part of the journey. I was ready for Halloween 2 months ago. Grateful. Yeah, I think I love Halloween, the festival and all of that. I love that, but I don't like the cold so much. Man, I'm just mourning the passing of summer. It's just a tough blow. But anyway, I'm trying to embrace the other seasons as much as I do summer and spring, but so far it's just not working real well. But anyway, I got to find the light and love in all of it. Wizard Moon, how you doing? I quit going out years ago. That was in my 20s in military days. Went out every weekend. Wild times. Well, yeah, I think we all have those times, and I guess you kind of turn a corner and go, yeah, you know what I like? I like not spending, buying $10 drinks. I like having money rather than just pissing it away at a bar and then coming home with either sick or with a bad day the next day. So I hear you. I hear you. But we got a bunch of you here Karen Alberding remembered. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it. We've got a lot of people here. You guys are coming in packs and droves, and that's awesome so far. Karen Alberding is here, of course. Paranormal Paul just popped in. How you doing, Paranormal Paul? Good to see you, man. That's really cool. Paranormal Paul. Yeah, I just talked to Paranormal Paul. He was just on the show. So on the live show, as a matter of fact, last weekend. So it's great to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in. John Stevenson is here. Rachel gets it right. Jason Finch, Karen Alberding again. I said it twice. Mickey G, Annie Manul, Grateful Owl, Chalky Danger, John Stevenson. I might have already said you, but I'm saying you again. Deb Varner. How you doing, Deb? Good to see ya. And Aussie Tiger's in here. I still got to send you a shirt, Aussie. I'm working on it. I have sent a couple out, and I've got more to send. But I'm squeezing them in when I can. I was working on a video all day today, so it was busy. Busy here in the Portal House. Wizard Moon. Who else? I'm looking. I got to scroll way up, maybe. Maybe I'll just do this. Maybe I'll do this and do it instead of scrolling around, I'm just going to do this. So I got Annie Manul, Aussie Tiger, Chucky Danger, D Oceans Deep Woo's in here. Good to see you, D. Deb Varner, Grateful Owl, Jason Finch, Jed Maxwell. I'm sorry, I've got to get my glasses on. This is ridiculous. I just hate how small that is. All right, Jed Maxwell, John Stevenson, Karen Alberding, Kat Doherty's in here, Larry and Shirley Bell, Mickey G, Neil S, Paranormal Paul is here, I'm here, Rachel gets it right, Sinfully Wicked, and Wizard Moon. So that's who's chatting currently that I can see. And if I missed your name, please just give me a hello in the chat, and I'll try to give you one. So far, it's just me on Rumble. I don't see anybody popping over there yet. But that's okay. Hopefully you guys will show up over there too. I know Justin Goodearth was over there last week, or last show rather. So that's wonderful. Excuse me, I'm a little froggy. All right, so we got a full boat coming up tonight. Sheldon will be joining us as soon as he's able, unless he didn't get the link or something. But I'll keep my phone handy, and he'll message me going, "Hey, I need the link again." I don't know what it is. Whenever I send him the link and he's not quite at his computer, he doesn't get it. But anyway, he'll be joining us, but we're going to do the news, and then we're going to jump into an article of some creature that it's actually a Phantoms and Monsters article. We're going to kind of hit that a little early because Lon submitted this article on Phantoms and Monsters of somebody citing a Dementor-like creature. And Dementors, of course, from Harry Potter, are those evil wraith-like things. And that's not unique to Harry Potter. I mean, J.K. Rowling borrowed pretty heavily on folklore and other traditions for her material for the books. So the fact that somebody saw something that looks like that doesn't surprise me, or any of the stuff that people say, oh, it looked like this from Harry Potter or that from Harry Potter. Well, it's because those are, legendary paranormal events, I guess. It's maybe the best way to put it for me. It might not be the best way for anybody, but that's as much as I can spit out now. So anyway, we'll get into that, and then we'll get into the cryptid corner and whatever else we decide. It's always an open book. But again, if you guys in the chat want to communicate and get my attention, please use all capitals in your message. That really helps me zero in on it a lot more than what I can when I'm reading articles and panning around and looking at stuff. It's tough for me. So just put it in capitals, and if I don't answer you, put it again. I don't know. When Sheldon comes, he can help me watch for it, but when it's just me, I do the best I can. So keep an eye on it. I'm glad you didn't get flooded, Annie. Wonderful. Just missed getting flooded. Annie, of course, is from down under, land of Oz. Good eye, mate. Yeah, she's down there, and they've been having some weather events down there like crazy. So take care of yourselves. Be safe. To all of our Australian friends and anyone else that's affected by weather events. I think I saw those creatures in an old Sinbad movie. Wraiths, skeletons clothed in a wreath of fire. Yeah, could be. I used to love those old Sinbad movies. That's so funny, Rachel. I swear to God, you and I are very similar in a lot of ways. I love those Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger and and Jason and the Argonauts and all those stop motion creatures and stuff. I just love those back in the day. But anyway, I guess that's going to wrap up the intros for the show. Let's get to the news, and hopefully you'll find it wildly entertaining and interesting. Jed Maxwell, Ray Harryhausen movies rock. Is that who did them? Jed, is that the name of the guy? Ray Harryhausen? Okay, I never knew that. I was much smaller back then. I didn't really pay attention to the credits at all, but that's cool. Yeah, I love those movies. Loved them. Sinbad in the Eye of the Tiger. It wasn't, and then Jason and the Argonauts, and there was a few Sinbad ones. I just love those. I'm not a big fan of those movies. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how old you are for sure, Paul, but they were kind of a big thing when I was just a wee lad. I mean, we didn't have a lot to choose from, like 3 channels, and when something like that came on, it was like, oh my God, it's not news. Ray made the animations and built the creatures. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, they were awesome. All right, well, let's get to the news. Find out what I've curated for your benefit over there, and hopefully you enjoy it. You might just learn something, so pay attention. There might be a quiz. I'm not sure. It might be a surprise quiz, so definitely pay attention. All right, let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen, and find out what's on the news roster for tonight. What do they call it? A news blotter, maybe? News blotter, is that right? I don't know. That term just flew in my head. I think that's right. All right, time for the news. Let's see what's going on in the world. Still haven't seen Hocus Pocus 2. I did like the original quite a bit. Another one I like is Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp. That's an awesome movie. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the news desk here on the Paranormal Portal. I'm your anchor, Brent Thomas, and we're going to dive into the news stories of the night. Now, remember, throughout the course of the show, we utilize a lot of different sites, and I can only ask that you guys support these sites, visit them, give them your love and attention, because these sites are all amazing, and they're doing an incredible job, and they need your support. They need your traffic. You help to pay the bills by going over there and reading stuff. So, and besides, there's so much more material on all of these sites than we could ever cover. So the least we can do is just promote them, support them, and hopefully you guys will visit them when you can, because if you're into the paranormal, which you obviously are, that's something you should be doing. These are great sites, and they always need your love. So the first story is coming from an amazing site, and I say this every show, but it really is true. I love this site, and my love affair with this site just continues to blossom. It's just wonderful and glorious. And this is a site called unexplained-mysteries.com. This comes from the ghosts and hauntings category on unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is kind of interesting question. Why do ghosts wear clothes or sheets instead of appearing in the nude? I don't know. Maybe because, okay, I'm going to spitball this before I start reading, but a representation of a spirit is probably, we identify ourselves, our identity, in as much as what we look like, as well as what we like to wear. Like that's part of our identity, our fashion. So I don't think it's bizarre that spirits would show up wearing clothes rather than just floating buck naked, because most people don't run around their life much being buck naked. It's just you get buck naked when you have to shower or show you care. I don't know how to say that without being really trashy, but there's not much instances throughout the course of our life that we're not clothed in some manner. And so why wouldn't they? To me, it'd be more bizarre if they did show up naked. It's like, what the hell? What the hell, Phil? What are you doing? Get a shirt on, you crazy bastard. Wouldn't that scare you more? And I'm here to tell you that, there's some like myself. The more clothes on me, the better. Trust me, because anything more revealing is almost science fiction. So, I don't want to scare people if I come back as a ghost. So I don't know. It doesn't surprise me, because why wouldn't they appear how they related in life? Would you expect your neighbor to show up at your house naked? And what's different? I mean, if they are formerly living people, would they have lost the sense of propriety at all? Like, well, no, I'm dead now. You get to deal with my birthday suit and me. It's like, come on. So I don't know. Anyway, showing their boobies. Oh, Deb. I don't know. I'm just saying. I dabble sometimes in color. I mean, gray. All right. I don't know what that means, but gotcha, Neil. The clothes might be soaked in the aura of their accidental death, but people who passed in hospitals or naked probably manifest in the way their mind chooses. Maybe. Yeah, absolutely. I think that, they sometimes, in tragic incidences, they sometimes appear damaged, like they might have physical damage in their apparitional form. And that might be as a manner of communication. It's like, well, this is what happened to me. See how about half my face is missing? Yeah, that's why I'm not here anymore, the normal way. But certainly clothing is a big part of our identity. And I think they just appear like they would in life. Would you go out and get the mail, naked? Well, you shouldn't if you would. I'm just going to put that out there. You shouldn't. But anyway, let's read what they say in the article, because I have no idea why this is an article, but let's check it out. When someone dies, they leave their material possessions behind, apart from their clothing, it seems. Shane, oh God, how long is this? Oh, this dude wrote a book. We'll read some of it. I don't know what he's going to say, but it's in the Ghosts and Hauntings, so I'm kind of curious what he's going to say. When you think of a ghost, what comes to mind? A ghostly, moldy, winding sheet? A malevolent pile of supernatural armor? Or a sinister gentleman in a stiff Victorian suit? In 1863, George Cruikshank, a caricaturist and illustrator of Dickens' novels, announced a discovery concerning the varied appearance of ghosts. It does not seem, he wrote, that anyone has ever thought of the gross absurdity and impossibility of there being such things as ghosts of wearing apparel. Ghosts cannot and must not, dare not, for decency's sake, appear without clothes, and as there can be no such thing as ghosts or spirits of clothes, why then it appears that ghosts never did appear and never can appear. I don't understand what this guy's saying. I'm already lost. Does that make sense to anybody? It's that old poetic prose of the eras gone by in 1863, I guess. Why aren't ghosts naked? Well, the key philosophical question for Cruikshank and many others in Victorian Britain. Indeed, stories of naked or clothesless ghosts, especially outside folklore, are exceedingly rare. Skeptics and ghost seers alike have delighted in thinking about how exactly ghosts could have form and force in the material world. Just what kind of stuff could they be made of that allows them to share our plane of existence in all of its mundanity? I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I think that's right. Is it mundanity or mundanity? I don't know. It's a big word. It's out of my pay grade. That's as close as I'm going to get. The main social role of the ghost before the modern period was to carry a message to the living from beyond the grave. So the link to burial clothing makes sense. This can be seen as a medieval trope of the 3 living and the 3 dead, whereby some hunters encounter their future skeletal corpses wrapped in linen, admonishing them to remember death. I don't understand that either. Yet, by the mid-19th century, with spiritualism and the early forms of psychical research spreading across the Western world, people began to report seeing ghosts dressed in everyday and contemporaneous clothing. This raised problems for those interested in investigating the reality of ghosts. If the ghost was an objective reality, why should it be wearing clothes? If the tenets of spiritualism were true, should the soul which has returned to visit the earth not be formed of light or some other form of ethereal substance? Were the clothes of spirits also spiritual? And if so, did they share their essence, or were they ghosts of clothes in their own right? All right, I'm getting a headache from this article. I don't know what he's going. I mean, he's putting a lot of thought into this, and God bless him for it. I don't know. I mean, to me, they can appear how they want to appear. If they want to appear as a 10-foot tall black form, they could. If they want to appear as a little ball of light, I guess they probably could, such as the orbs and such. Or if they want to appear like they did in life, or in some version of them in life, maybe what they most relate to psychologically, then that's how they'll appear. So I don't know. It's a lot of thought over kind of a silly question to me. But again, I'm no expert. Who can know? But there you go. That's the first article tonight on the news. And I don't know. Interesting. What do you think? What do you guys think? Why are they wearing clothes? Do you have a different opinion? That might be a good question of the week if Chucky's in here. Did you hear that article, Sheldon?
No, I just caught the tail end of it.
Ooh, you are clipping bad. You're like you're like overpowering your mic or something.
How's that?
Much better. You had an effect. You had an effect on it again, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So we're just talking about the article is why do ghosts wear clothes instead of or sheets instead of appearing naked?
Because they want to.
Yeah. Okay. Enough said. That's why from Sheldon and me to you, because they want to. But I put links.
What? If I'm visiting a relative, I don't want to show up naked.
My question was, who goes and gets their mail naked? It's like, oh, this is what I was born in.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, there's a question. A question for the ages. It is a curiosity.
That's right.
Yeah, it is a curiosity. But I think it's just all about identity. Our clothes are as much as our identity as the way we do our hair. It's all part of how we present ourselves to the world around us.
I mean, if I was rocking a 6-pack, then hey, I'll go naked everywhere if I could.
You still shouldn't. I'm just saying, if you got a 6-pack or a 12-pack, I don't care. You should not be going naked anywhere. Stupid, like really dumb question. Yeah, it might be. I think it's kind of silly. But anyway, I got another news story for you guys, and let's get to that now. All right, the next one up is coming from the extraterrestrial files of unexplained-mysteries.com. Again, wonderful site. Please visit this site and check them out. All right, here it is. This is kind of interesting. So in Peru, they found these mummified remains of beings that allegedly could be extraterrestrial, or at least not normal people. They could be some other branch of humanoid that might have existed here and died off. It might have been from somewhere else. Anybody's guess. But according to this article in unexplained-mysteries.com, the plot thickens, ladies and gentlemen, because mystery implant found during dissection of Peru's alien mummies. And this is allegedly a hand of one of them on the screen. If you can see that. Seeing that, Sheldon?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Ooh is right. So I just put you on screen now so people can see that you're here, not just hear you. All right, it says
I am here.
you are here. This one's not too long, so this one won't be bad. Researchers made an unexpected discovery while conducting an examination of the controversial remains. Jaime Maussan's alien mummies are back in the news again this week, and this time after an alleged metallic implant of some kind was found wedged inside a mummified hand found at the excavation site. So I think Jaime's are the ones that look like paper mache, or they just looked really campy to me. I don't know. I'm not really sure, and I think he's kind of a controversial figure in all of this anyway. He's tried to promote these alien mummies several times as the real thing, and I think it's fallen on deaf ears. And I don't know the guy. I don't mean to be super critical. I'm just saying he tries to get in the news a bunch, though. I'll tell you that. So, but I've never been a fan of looking at those mummies going, oh God, that's got to be the real one. I thought they were talking about the Paracas skulls mummies, where they got these really elongated craniums and stuff. But these are the Jaime Maussan's ones. So the mystery began when Maussan, a controversial figure even in the UFO community, thank you, presented what he claimed to be two alien bodies at a formal Congress hearing in Mexico City back in 2023. Supposedly found buried between the Peruvian cities of Palpa and Nazca, in 2017, the two bodies reportedly contained unknown DNA and were, as Maussan put it, not from this earth. His claims went on to generate a great deal of controversy and debate, with experts slamming his discovery on the basis that the aliens were thought to be little more than human mummies. And since then, several other claims have been made, ranging from the findings of additional mummies to a fingerprint analysis suggesting that these entities might not actually be human after all. Now, during a forensic dissection of the mummified hand found at the same site as the other remains, experts have discovered a strange metallic implant embedded in the palm. It is a very complex metal alloy that requires special knowledge and techniques to be able to achieve it with such quality and purity, said Navy forensic doctor Dr. Jose Zelsi Benitez. And it was possible to identify elements such as aluminum, tin, silver, copper, cadmium, and osmium, among others, in similar quantities and percentages. So could this piece of strange metal be a genuine implant, or was it placed inside the hand after death, perhaps as part of some sort of ritualistic practice? And in any case, does this really add credence to the idea that these remains are extraterrestrial? The search for answers continues. Well, again, he's been a pretty questionable figure for a long time. I don't know what to make of it.
Sharky says there's also been metal implants in some of the elongated skulls in Peru.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that. Okay. I did not know that. I don't know. Could be. Anybody lagging out there? You guys have any lagging?
I haven't seen any.
I haven't seen any. I just had a message, so that's why I wondered.
Oh.
But that's the second article, and don't worry, there's more. Let me close it. I'll take a look. Yeah, YouTube still says excellent connection, so looks like we're good. I don't know why it was doing that. Okay. Well, again, my computer's always limping along. So far, so good. Keep going, baby. All right. Let's get to the next article. I got, maybe we'll do one more, and then we'll move on. We'll move on to other stuff. This one's Modern Mysteries. How long is this one? No, this one's pretty short. We can do this one. All right, this one is, I don't know if this, it's fine. I don't know what these are, though. I'd never heard mention of these before. So they're apparently solved the mystery of the Yamal craters. And I didn't know there was a mystery of the Yamal craters before today. So I'm glad that they solved it. I didn't know it was a question, but let's get to the Yamal craters. Article from unexplained-mysteries.com. Has the mystery of the Yamal craters been definitively solved at last? There they are. I guess that's what created this hole. I guess we're going to find out because they solved it. Let's see what they solved, Sheldon. For years, peculiar craters have been inexplicably appearing across Russia's remote Yamal Peninsula. The phenomena first came to light back in 2014 when a large hole approximately 50 meters deep was discovered quite unexpectedly in the Yamal Peninsula in northwest Siberia. Evidence suggests that the hole had been created by some sort of explosion, but it was unclear what could have caused such an event in such a remote location. Before long, several more of these mysterious craters have been discovered across the region, spawning a scientific mystery that would leave experts scratching their heads. Now, though, scientists believe that they've finally determined exactly what is responsible. The key lies in pounds of salty water known as cryopegs, I guess, that can be found sandwiched between the layer of seasonally frozen soil and the underlying layer of thick clay permafrost. Due to the effects of global warming, okay, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, because, I don't want things to go to hell anyway. But, I don't know much about this, I'll be honest. The soil layer has been defrosting to increasingly greater depths. An explosion occurs when pressure from excessive meltwater causes cracks to open the soil, resulting in sudden drop in pressure, which destabilizes the methane hydrate in the saltwater. Wow. As temperatures continue to increase, such explosions could begin to happen more and more often. The explosions themselves also release more methane, further adding to the... Oh, come on. Whatever. I don't get into the whole methane thing. I'm sorry. And I'm probably pissing some of you off. But, God, volcanoes are blowing up, putting more methane and gases into the atmosphere than a billion cows could in 50 years. And they talk about this methane thing. I don't know. Anyway, I'm probably going to get some hate mail over that. And I apologize. I'm just telling you, this is my angle on it. This is what I think. And
what is the methane thing?
Well, they say that part of the global warming is due to methane, and they blame a lot of the agricultural industry for that. Like, well, it's because of these livestock, and we should be, maybe eating bugs instead or something.
Oh, that's where that joke comes from cow farts causing global warming.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And here's the thing. Methane's produced from rotting vegetation. It's not just, biological or mammals. Methane is just a natural part of decomposition of biological matter. And so I don't know. Again, I don't mean to piss anybody off. I don't mean to insert myself out there, but come on. Now the soil's blowing up and it's going to warm things up even more. All right. I just can't get there. I'm sorry. I don't like to insert my own beliefs into stuff too much, but come on. Come on. Anyway, I'll move on. Anyway, but that's gonna wrap up the news, and I hope I didn't piss anybody off. But I do have a microphone, and you're gonna get whatever's coming out of my noise hole, and you might not like it sometimes, but just understand, it's my show, and
that's right.
And I don't claim to be a brilliant person. I'm not saying I'm right and everybody else is wrong. I'm just, I can't get there yet. I can't do it. Sorry. All right. So just put it out there. But
that's fine.
Believe what you want, folks. I don't pretend to be expert on pretty much anything. I'm just talking about paranormal stuff mostly, and I'm not an expert at that either. So. Anyway, well, I appreciate that you guys are being supportive in the chat. Thank you. That's very nice.
Oh, don't forget the amount of nuclear detonations that have been made too.
Yeah. I'm betting, the thermonuclear detonation hotter than the surface of the sun might warm things up once in a while too. Not to mention the radioactivity that also, you're doing just fine, Brother Thomas. All right. Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. I just, I try not to merge into those kind of topics too often because honestly, I don't want the show to alienate anybody. I think it's great we're all come together to have these discussions, but I can't help it. I'm only human. Sometimes it's just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. So you're going to get that sometimes from me. So.
I think that's acceptable.
Refreshing. All right. Well, I mean, I grew up next to the Mississippi River, and there was backwater stuff where methane would be bubbling up all the time from rotting vegetation and stuff. And it's like, God, smell like ass back there too. And you know, it's like, it's just part of things. It's part of how it all works, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's get done with the news here and get back to the rest of the show. So this has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News, brought to you by cow farts and no, I'm just kidding.
And human farts.
Yeah, well, a few of those too. Why not? All right, here we go. Exactly, Neil. Exactly. Hey, Batman. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. Awesome. I hear it makes yours spin faster. Especially if you light them. Sorry, was that out loud or did I just think that? I wasn't sure where I went with that. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. This is our descent into stupidity, but we're damn good at it. How you doing, by the way, Sheldon?
Oh, I'm great. It's Friday. Who can complain on a Friday?
Well, people that work Saturday maybe and Sunday. Yeah.
I'm sorry for those of you out there. You're right. You're right.
I mean, I'm just going to level the playing field here a sec. I got to take off the sweater.
If you're working or have to work this weekend, I'm so sorry.
We are so sorry for you. I got to take off my sweater because I am absolutely baking.
You're just
trying not to show nipples here, so hold on. I got to pull down the inside layer. Otherwise, I'm going to get demonetized here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Nobody wants to see that. I know it's a paranormal show, but there is a limit to what I want you guys to see and experience here on the show. One of them is my nipples.
Yeah, we don't need any pancakes.
They're perky little things. That's all I'm going to say. I'm an idiot. Yep. You guys came here on purpose, too. That's the funny part. You guys volunteered for this abuse. I know. What do you do? All right, I'm almost there. Here we go.
There you go. Yeah, there it is.
That's so much better.
That's sweet relief.
I can't quite hear you. Hold on. What?
That's sweet relief.
Yeah, well, it feels like I don't know if I overheat. I just overheat a lot, especially during times when it's like man-made heat. Natural heat I can just adjust, but furnace heat, oh God, it instantly starts making me sweat and gives me a headache, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, I'm not actually. Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, I'm not a big fan of furnace heat.
No. I mean, it's better than freezing, but
I prefer freezing.
Oh, you twisted bastard. Okay. All right, Brent. It's not your OnlyFans. Yeah. God, could you imagine? I should maybe start one just to. What
you put on there?
I don't know. Puppet show. I don't know. Jesus. I mean, it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be me getting all risque. I'll tell you that. God, I had to unfriend somebody on Facebook.
Oh no.
Just because, and God bless him for being comfortable in his own skin, but he started. I mean, he's a bigger guy. That's what I'll say. He's a bigger guy, but he started posting like shirt off pictures, which is like, okay, well, I didn't need to see that, but okay. So it's all over my feed. And then he starts posting about his OnlyFans. And then he started posting about how people were getting pissed at him because apparently he was posting some like spreading butt cheeks pictures and stuff. And it's like, oh God, why?
Why on Facebook?
I mean, he wasn't putting the pictures there, but he was talking about doing that on his OnlyFans, and how people loved it, and his wife was digging it too. And I'm like, oh God, no, please, God. So yeah, exactly, Chucky. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get off of this news feed real quick. And so I ended that connection. And yeah, I'm not gonna go into naming the person, but it got so freaking bizarre. I just had to stop seeing it. Like, I mean, if he wants to like stand there with his, big ass nipples hanging out and his, his man, I don't know, saggy man chest. I mean, he's kind of older and he's heavier and stuff. And God, God bless him. I don't think I'm not trying to fat shame the guy, but.
Oh yeah.
But when he started talking about the lewd stuff, it's like, oh man, because
put the image in your head.
Right. That's the problem, is that I'm already seeing the dude without a shirt, which is too much. But then he starts talking about the other crap he's doing, and like instantly I'm a visual mental person. So that goes into my head, and I can't unsee that. That's in there now. It's in my head. And it's like, I don't need this abuse. I had to kill that feed completely. It's like, oh God, what is wrong?
I am actually a little envious of that confidence.
Yeah, again, it's good to be comfortable in your own skin. God bless the guy for that. But don't talk about spreading your butt cheeks and taking photos and stuff.
Stop.
I'm telling
you.
I
in my head.
Yes, exactly. That's why I had to stop it. I'm sorry to bring you guys into that mental imagery with me, but God, misery loves company, and I need help.
I don't want your company at that level. No.
Save me from these mental nightmares. Oh God. Oh, eesh. All right. I don't even know how I know how, because I was talking about showing my own nipples, and instantly his nipples came to my head, and then all the other shit came to or the other stuff. Sorry. Oh God, it just gives me the Lulus. No. Moving on, Barbara. Barbara says, moving on.
I agree, Barbara.
All right. I'm sorry. It's just I needed to process that, and I don't have people to talk to. Just you guys. It's like, this is my therapy couch right here. Anyway, sorry about that. That's gross.
This is going to start a channel called the Bread and Butter Paranormal.
Call it Spread and Butter Paranormal.
Oh, stop.
Thank you. I'm here all night. That kind of helped, actually. That kind of helped.
We always get on a weird topic.
I don't know. Dude, sometimes you pull us into the weird lane.
We can't.
You do this sometimes personally. So don't just blame me. I just walked into this conversation.
It's funny when I do it, though.
Tommy says, I just walked into this conversation. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tommy. You can't always count on the professionalism of the Paranormal Portal. I'm just going to tell you. Brent, tell me about your mother. What?
What?
What about my mom? Wait, what? I don't know.
What context does that make sense in this conversation?
I don't know. I think he's just trying to change the subject, I hope. Yeah, my mom's wonderful. She's a lovely soul. Maybe he's trying to get my mind straightened out here. He's doing a therapy session. Oh, okay. I gotcha. I
see. Okay.
Yeah, well, I love my mommy. She is wonderful. She really is. My mom's a great lady.
For a second, I'm like, wait, what?
I know. It was like, huh? Okay. You said you're in therapy on the couch. All right, I got you. I got you. I'm a little slow out of the gate there. It just kind of hit me. It was like it's like, you're facing off and it's just that surprise uppercut. It's like, ooh, I didn't see that one coming. So anyway, psychiatrist questions. Yeah, you guys all caught it. I missed all of that. I was like, nah.
It all started when I was born.
Yeah. I don't know what to do. Good evening to Paranormal Portal Mom. Yeah, I'm sure she might be out there. She's been hitting the bed earlier now, but she always sends her love to you guys. So Portal Mom's out there somewhere. If she's out there, she's I'm sure watching, but she might be napping. Anyway, let's continue on and get on to the rest of the show. I said I was going to bring you to Phantoms and Monsters a little bit early tonight, and I meant it. I meant it, by God. Because we're going to go into a story. Again, this is kind of in the spirit of Halloween. We don't discuss as much spiritual stuff anymore. which I think is kind of a tragedy.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
It is, but I mean, the thing with the paranormals, there's so much of it out there. And I actually did shows dedicated to ghost stories, like series of shows. There's probably nearly several hundred of them. They're called the Night Terrors, and most of those are ghost stories. And so,
that's
I
right.
did a ton of ghost stories for a lot of years. And so I've been hitting more of the cryptid and the strange and unusual stuff and some UFO stuff, but we got to revisit the ghosts because we're heading into. You certainly did, Brent. Yeah, absolutely, Annie. We're going to head back into the ghosts because it's around Halloween. It's kind of seasonally appropriate, and besides, this is probably spiritual phenomena. I think is probably the most common types of paranormal experiences that most people have. They may not, the amount of people that see Bigfoot or Nessie or have strange events happen like time slips or stuff like that or UFO sightings is probably a lot less than those people that have experienced some form of ghostly activity. And I don't mean necessarily haunting, but just strange stuff happening, like a presence is there, that kind of thing. I think those are much, much, much more common, and is certainly part of the culture of the world. Every culture talks about ghosts, and always has. It's been a part of every developing and undeveloped nation in the world. So it seems to be a commonality there. But
that's true.
We're going to go over to Phantoms and Monsters early because this story, Lon posts a whole spectrum of things, and oftentimes we read most of these cryptid stories. But I've been seeing several weird phenomena stories that he's been posting lately, and he's been posting them all along, but I've been paying more attention. And Lon posts so much great stuff over there, and I hope you guys will go over and support phantomsandmonsters.com. It's such an amazing site. Again, you can find out about Lon's research efforts that they do into a lot of cryptozoological subjects, strange phenomena, etc. On his site. They have groups working in concert across the country. And Lon also is a published author, and he's the host and creator of Phantoms and Monsters Radio, which is also a YouTube channel. And he just was on, just got done doing an interview with the Expanded Universe. And he's going to be coming back on the portal sometime soon. I really have a good time talking to Lon. I got to get Wes back on too. Got to have to talk to Wes again.
Yeah, Wes.
You can get Wes back. Yeah, I've Wes and I have done a few shows together, and it's always a blast. And again, I'm going to repeat it. This, as of today, released on Bigfoot Crossroads. I did get together with Matt Knapp and do an interview with him. That is live now on all the podcasting platforms as well. So check out Bigfoot Crossroads with Matt Knapp, and Matt will be coming to do a recording with me on Monday, right after Tommy Cullum, actually, of Let's Get Freaky podcast is coming on the portal. So got going to have a catalog built up here for maybe a few weeks. All right, well, let's get to this from phantomsandmonsters.com. And this is the name of the article it's from October 18th, first of all. Frightening levitating Dementor-like entity encountered in the Hungarian forest. So this is, again, if you've seen Harry Potter, you know exactly what we're talking about. If you have not seen the Harry Potter movies, the Dementors were these spirit wraith-like, almost like Reaper-like without the sickle. They were like these really emaciated corpse-like things in these wispy black robes that flew around, and they would suck the joy out of everyone. So let's see what this report is. Now, again, I said it at the lead into the show, but J.K. Rowling drew real heavily on the paranormal, on mythology and folklore in writing her books. And so, these stories are not unique. These creatures are not unique to J.K. Rowling. She just brought a lot of these different folklores and stuff into her work from around the world, like Grindylows and all of that stuff. So, yeah, and mermaids, and obviously. So anyway, Let's get to this article and see what she says. Let me go to this screen. Frightening levitating Dementor-like entity encountered in the Hungarian forest. Now, again, it's kind of fitting that it would appear over in Hungary, because there's some ancient forests over there, and a lot of the ancient forests of Europe where these legends were born. So let's see what it says. The submitter tells a story of what that they heard from their father, who was Hungarian and had no explanation of what he saw. Can you help to identify this being? So my father spent most of his life in the forest. According to my grandmother, it was kind of normal that my father went missing for 2 to 3 days in their local forest at the age of 6. Oh my God, really?
What?
He'd be gone for like 2 or 3 days at 6 years old. My God, we would be on a manhunt.
Oh yeah.
He spent 3 days walking around enjoying nature. Well, after my grandmother realized they couldn't really stop him, it has become a regular thing. This love of nature has stayed with my father for his whole life. He still goes out hunting and camping regularly. And I'm telling this to give you some context. He has spent his whole life in nature. He knows every sound and recognizes every animal at a glance. He told me this story for the first time 15 years ago. As a skeptic, I didn't pay much attention to it, as I believed it to be a story he came up with to entertain us or scare us. I started to take it seriously because from time to time, he retold this and every detail stayed the same. And he was visibly nervous during his tale. He is not easily scared, so I feel like I can trust him with this, and I can believe his story. So here's the encounter. So one time he spent the night in the forest with his dog, a dachshund trained for hunting. Oh, okay. Must be for small game like rabbits and stuff, yeah. He was walking down a road separating 2 paths in the forest. And he then realized that, or 2 parts of the forest, not 2 paths of the forest. He realized that his dog, who walked in front of him, had stopped walking and ran back to my father and sat down between his legs. Then my father saw that someone was coming from the forest. Well, he believed it was someone on the back of a horse because he only saw the reflections of an eye, but they were too high to be a walking person. And then he realized the eyes were way bigger than that of a normal human. He said they were the size of tennis balls and that they were really far away from each other. And he noticed that the creature was looking around because the reflections disappeared and reappeared as if it was turning its head. When the creature saw my father, or at least acknowledged his presence, he fixed his eyes on him and came out of the trees. According to Dad, it was levitating. It was at least 50 centimeters, about 20 inches off the ground, made no sound, and was skinny. But it was wearing some type of robe/clothing, so there was nothing else to see beside his eyes. That appeared to be a mix of red, brown, and gray. But since the only light was coming from the moon and stars, he was not so sure about the colors. He compared it to a Dementor from the Harry Potter films. The creature did not confront my father. It simply levitated across the path and disappeared into the woods on the other side. Well, this is weirder than it seems, since that side of the forest is just a narrow 3 to 4 meters, 150 inches, about, wide region of the trees. And after the trees, there's a concrete fence to separate the forest from the factory. After this encounter, my father turned back because he didn't want to risk a second meeting. He spent the rest of the night in a different area. In the morning, he went back to check for trails, but the creature had not left any signs of its presence. No footprints, nothing at all. And this happened in Hungary in 2002. Huh.
Oh.
Right. So what is it? What was it doing? I'm kind of curious here, so I'm going to do a quick search. What are Dementors?
That's what I was thinking
Based
too. Like, what are they
on-
based on now? And that's what I'm thinking.
All right. Dementors from the Harry Potter series are loosely based on Depression and other types of anxiety. Well, that's, come on.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. The name Dementor comes from the Latin word demens, which means insane. J.K. Rowling has said that her own experience with severe depression inspired the creation of Dementors. Okay, well, that's not nearly as cool. All right. What are Dementors based off of? Yeah, that's not it. What kind of creature is a Dementor? Well, let's see. Let's see what the traditional names. What are some folklore stories of Dementor type creatures? All right, let's see. The AI is looking. Dementors are a fictional creature that are similar to wraiths. Okay, so it's like a wraith and are known for draining happiness from people. Okay, so that goes into the J.K. Rowling thing. So I guess it just basically talks about wraiths. But let's see what wraiths are depicted as. Images of wraith are WRAITHS. Yeah, I mean, when you look at these images, that's, and I'll put them on screen so you guys can see, but as soon as it loads, I'm asking a lot of my pewter right now, but that does kind of look like what the Dementors look like. And I'm putting them on screen now, and these are depictions of wraiths, mostly from imaginations, I'm sure, but some of these look very Dementor-like, right?
Wow.
Pretty consistently, actually.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, there you go. So those are wraiths.
I guess it would have been wraith.
Would have been a wraith,
As
I
far
guess.
as
Yeah.
how lore is considered it.
Yeah. Wraith by Nostalgic Superfan on DeviantArt. Yeah, DeviantArt has some great images. So that's what a wraith allegedly looks like. So it sounds like, yeah, this person encountered a wraith. Now, I guess the next story or the next search is, what are wraiths? WRAITHS. Wraith. A ghost or ghost-like image of someone, especially one seen shortly before or after their death, used in reference to a pale, thin, insubstantial person or thing. A wisp or faint trace is something. What are wraiths known for? Wraiths are the most common of the three type of ghosts, the other being phantoms and wights. The wraith is without physical, tangible form and consists only of the soul of a person wishing to fulfill an evil goal after his or her own death. Okay, well,
so it's a vengeful spirit.
Yeah, they had a axe to grind, so to speak, for sure. Okay.
Oh, Rachel says, Brent, you might have some luck with Irish mythology. Not exactly the banshee, but there's other ones similar.
Yeah, but by all means, post anything you want, Rachel. If you find something that might be worth sharing, put it in here, or send it to me, I guess, or send it on Discord, and we can reference it. But yeah, it's interesting stuff. So I just thought that was kind of a cool story of somebody seeing something like that. Again, I don't know what this person saw for sure, but it could have been something evil. It kind of sounds like it was evil. Again, if spirits can choose how they look, why would you choose that unless you're already twisted up,
Yeah, but it's not like it went after the child.
No, but maybe that just wasn't what it was doing. Maybe it was after someone else that was also there. Who knows? I mean, God only knows, but yeah, it's not to say that it was necessarily evil, but it might have been vengeful, might have been pissed off about something. And so that's what gave it its twisted visage, perhaps. I don't know. Interesting thought anyway. Again, who can tell? Who can know? But you know what I know, Sheldon?
What's that?
I know it's time for this. Yep, that's right, folks. It's time for the Cryptid Corner. A keening cry was a warning of incoming death in certain bloodlines. Yeah, in fact, the banshees were supposedly tied to a family line. That, you know, they would follow a family line in a lot of cases.
Oh.
As part of the Tuatha De Danann or whatever. Of the Fae. Anyway, interesting stuff. As Chucky said, the first banshee was a Tuatha De Danann goddess. Okay.
Oh.
I didn't know that for sure. I didn't know that even kind of for sure. But that's cool. Thank you, Chucky. All right. Well, we're going to get into the cryptids, folks, as we dive into more of the strangeness. Did you get a haircut, Sheldon?
I did.
I can tell. I just noticed the one, but it looks like maybe some other ones got cut as well. You know, you got a haircut. Get it? I don't know. It was funny in my hair, in my head.
Hair's cut.
You got a haircut. And then I just noticed the one.
Okay. Oh, you're fine. Okay. You're a comedian tonight. Okay.
Oh, what do you mean is tonight? What the hell is that? I thought the show was always fun and light and happy and good humor.
I definitely don't fake laugh. I'm just kidding.
Susie and the Banshees. I love Susie and the Banshees, Neil. Yeah. Kiss them for me.
Yeah.
I may be delayed. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs of theirs, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, the other night I played "I Love You" by the Climax Blues Band. Just a clip. I thought for sure it was under 15 seconds, but I still got a spanking from YouTube over playing that, even a section of that song.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
they hit hard.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't give me an actual copyright strike, but they said, "Oh, you can't monetize this video because it's being monetized by the song's creator." So I guess I just donated my any proceeds from the show to them, wherever they were. Yeah, I don't think that works for super chats though. If it does, that's absolute crap because it shouldn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. My favorite band is Susie and the Banshees. Yeah, Face to Face is a good song. Yeah. Yep, that was a good one too. You're right, Chucky. I'd forgotten about that one. I'll have to listen to that on Spotify after the show. There were banshees as well, but you didn't hear much from them. Being dudes, they weren't into all the wailing and yelling and such. Yeah. Is that talking about the band, the Banshees? We're all guys. Because Susie Sue was the main singer. But anyway, let's get to the cryptids. We're going to start out the journey in Sasquatch Chronicles. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Westgrimmer's side. He was here on Wednesday. He came in and hung out on Wednesday's show. That was cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was nice to see him. He's sometimes out there listening. He doesn't always talk. I mean, I don't know how often he's listening, but it's cool to know that he stops in. So that was fun. That was fun.
Bon-He,
huh?
by the way.
What?
Oh, Batman said Bon-He, not Banshee.
Ban-He.
Ban-He. Oh.
Susie.
Banshee, it's Ban-He.
Oh.
I get it. I get it.
Oh, yeah.
I understand now.
Okay, yeah. All this, it's very cerebral humor, and we're not very cerebral, so we miss a lot of that.
Speak for yourself.
Hey, you miss Ban-He, I'm just saying. Don't leave me out there all by myself. All right, so we're going to get to this. This is, again, SasquatchChronicles.com. Please visit the blog. Wes does an incredible job posting stuff daily to this, and it's always current and some great stuff going on there, too. So, including the experiencers, the emails that he receives. And those are the ones I love covering on this show because they are people's experiences with seeing or experience some kind of strange creatures in the wilds of America. So we're going to start our journey there. And by God, we're going to do it right now. Let me make sure to turn that off so it doesn't pop up every time I go back to this screen. I usually forget. All right. Here it is, tonight's first story in the Cryptid Corner. This is from October 25th, SasquatchChronicles.com. Strange encounter with a creature. A listener writes, I recently picked up my bow to go hunting for whitetail after about a 15-year hiatus. I'd moved to Columbus, South Carolina from North Carolina. but I was raised in the mountains of West Virginia. Where I was hunting in South Carolina was part of the urban hunting that was provided almost in the city right on the outskirts. I had moved to an apartment and found 15 acres where there were at least 6 deer on it. 4 does and 2 bucks was what I have seen. Now this was last October. I was hunting from the ground and had 4 does run by me, very spooked, and then 3 of those deer ran back by me. Okay, so they came both ways. As I was sitting there, I noticed that there was what I thought was a wild hog on the ground about 50 yards away from me. As I struggled to see what it was, looking back, I believe this animal was phasing into our reality because it was hard to make out details. I think he meant it saw me and almost wispily raised it to its feet. It was not a hog. It started coming to me, and I was scared as hell. So I started barking like a dog, and it just stood there for what seemed like an eternity. So once it stopped coming to me, I stopped the ridiculous barking. I heard this loud scream off in the distance, and it took off. I don't know what I saw, but I think it was a Bigfoot. Wow. Huh. Wonder what made him bark like a dog, though. It's like, ruff, ruff.
Just trying to scare it off. Probably.
Yeah, maybe, I guess, but I just wonder how he got there. And they're like, hey, doing the old
Funny.
human yell.
A human speech would be more scary to animals than barking of a dog.
Generally, I would think so, but I don't know. Maybe that would have been worse. But maybe the dog was more threatening because maybe it felt they couldn't hide if there was a dog there. I don't know. Or did it even believe him or just think he was absolutely bonkers? Like, the hell's wrong with this guy? He's barking.
This guy's crazy.
It's just like,
he might have rabies.
Yes. He's not okay. I'm getting out of here. Maybe that's what made it run off, not that scream. It was like, screw this guy, man. This guy's freaking me out. So, first story, but thank you, Wes. Appreciate it. And we're going to go to another one on Sasquatch Chronicles. He's lucky it didn't eat dogs. Yeah, no kidding.
It's
like
dinner.
Dinner, ding, ding. The dinner bell just rang. Roof, roof. All right, this one's from October 25th, an ape-like creature. Our listener writes, it was August 2 years ago. I was camping in the Beartooth Wilderness in Montana with a group of my dad's high school buddies. Well, it was around 7:46 at night, so just when the sun was setting on the campground we were in. And there was a meadow area in the campground surrounded by pretty thick woods. It was dark, dusky, like in the trees, but a good amount of light in the meadow. We were at a campfire, which was on the edge of the woods, and we're all sitting around having a jolly good time. But while one guy was talking, we heard several hooting noises. They were deep, definitely not an owl, and we heard heavy breathing. Now, we were in Montana. We aren't stupid. We assumed it was a bear. We stood with our backs to the fire and raised our arms over our head and hollered. We also got our bear spray. Well, the howling stopped, but the grunting continued, and it sounded like it was getting further away. From the corner of his eye, the guy on the opposite side said he saw a large ape-like creature running / crawling / shuffling away. Well, as we were hiking away 3 days later, we heard more hooting, which followed us for about 5 miles until several guys...
Half a mile.
Oh, 0.5. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see the point there. For about why would it say 0.5 miles? Okay.
That's half a mile.
All right, you're right. That is a 0.5. Until several guys let off some shots from their pistols. Thanks for hearing me out, man. If you could, I don't know, tell me something like, that was definitely not a Sasquatch. That would help me and my buddies. Yeah, but who can tell you that? Obviously it would make you feel a little more comfortable. Because, God, when you're confronted by the unknown, that leaves a whole lot of question marks. Well, we're going to hit one more from Sasquatch Chronicles. And this one is from October 24th. Getting more current. Standing on 2 legs and wasn't a bear. A listener writes, I'm from Australia. I like saying it that way, Australia. And, and this summer just gone, I took time off of work and traveled to Canada to visit my son who's working in Whistler, BC. That might be up by you, Chucky. Up by Whistler. During my visit, my son had to work on a few of the days I was there, but I was left to do my own thing. I'd been up to Blackcomb Peak on the gondola a couple of times and saw the ascent trail that ended by the gondola station at the top. Being a bit out of shape and in my mid-50s, I thought that going up would be a huge challenge, but going down might be a bit easier and something I could brag about with my friends and family. On the Wednesday I was there, I caught the gondola up and had something to eat for lunch at the cafe at the summit. About 1 p.m., I shouldered my backpack with water and some snacks in it, and I started down the trail. Well, the first couple of people I passed mentioned the trail did get a bit steep and to be careful. Well, I thanked them and walked on, and then promptly fell on my butt and slid a few feet down the trail. I got up and dusted myself off and just kept going. On the way down, I met a hiker coming up and chatted with him. He was a local, and I asked him about the bushes on the trail and the fruit on them. He said they were wild blueberries and quite safe to eat. Well, after a brief chat, he kept heading up, and I kept heading down. A little while later, as I headed down, I heard some noise to my right, and when I looked, I could see a bear foraging in a little glade of blackberry bushes, maybe 10 to 15 meters off the trail. Well, I was excited as this was the first time I'd ever seen a bear. I didn't feel scared or apprehensive at all. The bear was too busy eating berries to consider putting me on the menu, so I snapped a couple of pictures and walked, thinking about the excitement of telling my son I'd seen a bear. Well, I crossed the first dirt road that the trail goes over as you come down, and I passed a couple of ladies heading up the trail and mentioned to them about the bear, which they were thankful for. The trail then flattened out for a good 300 meters, and this is where things turned strange. As I walked into that flat area, I could hear a tap, tap, tap sound coming from midway up a couple of big trees. It kept going with 2 or 4 taps at a time. I then realized I was hearing a woodpecker. More excitement welled up in me as I got to see my first live wild woodpecker. I stopped and listened and managed to snap a couple of pics, although they were so zoomed in you could barely make the bird out. I walked on a bit further and realized that the whole forest had just gone quiet. I didn't really think that much of it as I enjoyed the silence of the mountains and peaks around Whistler for the last few days. And then I felt this low rumble in my lower gut, like you get when the bass note of the music is low. I felt it enough to stop for a moment and take stock of myself. I felt it again, and that's when I realized what I was hearing was a very low growl, the type that comes from the back of an animal's throat. The only other sound I've ever heard that was in any way similar to it is the grunting growl of a koala makes. I started to take a look around me as I was worried that the bear I had seen a few minutes earlier may have worked its way further down the mountain. As I looked around, I saw movement off to the left, just on the tree line about 15 meters or 45 feet away from me. It took me a moment to register that what I was looking at was standing up on 2 legs. And it was not a bear. What I was seeing was a large creature, maybe 2.5 meters or 7.5 feet tall, and partly obscured by the trunk of one of the bigger trees. It was covered in hair, with broad shoulders and a head, but no neck that I could actually see. I'd been snapping pictures on my phone all day, but when I saw this creature, I didn't even think of taking a picture. In fact, I didn't really think at all. I was rooted to the spot and just couldn't move. I felt like I was there for ages, but it couldn't have been very long at all. The creature stared at me for a short time, kind of huffed to itself, and then turned and walked away back into the trees and away from the trail. Well, I lost sight of it pretty quickly as it blended in really well with the trunks of the trees and moss and underbrush. And then I kind of got my sense back and had a bit of a panicky moment and realized all I could do was get down that trail as quickly as possible. And that's what I did. I worked my way down the trail until I reached the Midway gondola station. I got on the gondola and got back to the village in my hotel room as quick as I could. I honestly believe I saw a Sasquatch that day. Not a giant one like some people describe, a smaller one from the amount of gray I could see in the hair around his face and shoulders. It was probably an old one. I think I disturbed him doing something. What, I have no idea. But he was not that upset as to charge me, and instead he growled and gave me some sort of an exasperated huff that I had given my kids at times, and turned and just walked off from the annoyance that was me. That's pretty cool. That's really, really a pretty cool story. What do you think, Sheldon?
Seeing an older one. I don't even hear of a lot of stories about that.
Yeah, most people, I guess, kind of think that they, when you look at an older dog and they kind of get that graying around their muzzle and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very, very much similar to looking at an older Sasquatch, like their hair will get more grayish, that they think it's an age thing. It might not be. I mean, we know nothing or next to nothing about them, so it's speculative, but it makes sense. I mean, we get gray as human beings, so why wouldn't they?
Yeah, and don't most animals get gray as they, mammals get gray as they get older?
I think so. I can't be absolutely sure, but I know that at least in higher primates, that seems to be consistent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and obviously canines, you can tell when you're looking at an old dog versus when you're looking at a younger dog. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's a cool story. Cool story.
Very cool.
Yeah, that is a very cool story. I mean, that's a pretty fantastic, though, that he came all the way from Australia and boom, had a Sasquatch sighting. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And at a good distance. And it ended well.
That's the thing. That's the key part there. Good distance and ended well.
Yeah. It wasn't terror or anything like that. It was just saw a Sasquatch. There it was. So kind of neat. I think that's neat.
Yeah.
I like that story.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's the time now? 8:23. Okay, we're gonna head over to Phantoms and Monsters. I'm going to save the last 3 from Sasquatch Chronicles until tomorrow night when I believe I'm here alone. I believe I am. I don't think anybody's joining me tomorrow night. I've got some, last week I had Paranormal Paul on the show with me. We had a good time. We had a good talk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. We had a lovely discussion, Paranormal Paul and I. Poor guy is probably here tonight when I was going off about that OnlyFans thing. He might be like, yeah, oh God, I can't believe I appeared on the show. But anyway. Yeah. You never know what you're going to get on the portal, folks. But you know what you're getting now is more Phantoms and Monsters. By the way, special thanks to Wes for letting us use Sasquatch Chronicles. Special thanks to Lon Strickler for letting us use Phantoms and Monsters. Both wonderful people, and it really is cool to be able to peruse their catalogs. All right. We don't do a lot of this stuff on the show. There's a lot of claims out there, especially on Phantoms and Monsters, of like these bat-winged or like humanoid bats or mothmen, that kind of thing. And I don't do a lot of them just because, there's a ton of them right now, especially in the Great Lakes region. In fact, that's one of Lon's big research efforts right now, is looking into these Mothman type of stuff around the Chicago Great Lakes area. And, I don't know. I mean, it's something that I don't mind covering once in a while, but it's not a story that we visit a lot. But I did pull up one for tonight. Yeah, Bat Boy. Beware of the icebergs or you'll end up in a DiCaprio movie. Just stay on the door, Chucky. That's the big thing. Just stay on the door. All right. We're going to go to Phantoms and Monsters, as I said, and we're visiting a story from October 24th, which would have been yesterday. Is this yesterday old? I guess so, because it's the 25th today. So this was posted yesterday by Lon, and it's a red-eyed, bat-winged humanoid encounter in Rockford, Illinois apartment. Now that's extra creepy because it's actually being sighted in an apartment. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty fresh slice of hell to me. That would suck.
Kidding. Oh my God.
Where did that come from? Now, okay, so here's the thing. I've lived in houses that have had bats. God, several houses. This house gets bats sometimes. And I get out the fishing net and I get them, but they're creepy little bastards. And these are little dinky things. You know, and they swoop at you. I mean, they're not really swooping at you, but they swoop. And they pass right by you. It's like, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of really uncomfortable. But I get out my big fishing net and I catch them and then I let them outside and God bless them because they eat a lot of bugs. However, I think if I saw a man-sized one, that would change my whole opinion of this. And
oh my God, yeah.
That would be nightmare fuel. I don't know. Let's see what this says, though. Here it is. Red-eyed, bat-winged humanoid. This is from Rockford, Illinois. And driven through Rockford a bunch of times. As the result of the airing of the Mothman Revisited episode on season 4 of Unsolved Mysteries, the producers collected reports from the viewers and forwarded the information to us. Oh, that's cool. I think Lon was on that, as a matter of fact, on the newest season of Unsolved Mysteries. So that's really cool. Uh-huh. The witnesses are being contacted to establish and confirm details of the sightings or encounters. If further information is received, it will be added to the reports, and we've received worldwide inquiries as well. The incidents specifically reported in the Chicagoland region can be found at the Chicagoland/Lake Michigan Winged Humanoid Regional Interactive Map. And there is a link here. I will put this link. If anybody's interested in more information on these winged humanoids, then by all means, take a look at this map. Lon did post it on social media, and I looked at it. It's pretty fascinating. There's just a ton of these sightings from around over there. So the links are in the chats if you want to check out that for yourself for the Winged Humanoid Regional Interactive Map of the Chicago Lake, Michigan area. So 2013, 2014, Rockford, Illinois, my husband and I were living at Beacon Hill Apartments off Linden Road. Our apartment was on ground level with only one juvenile tree 20 feet from the bedroom window. My husband had been working nights and I would be sleeping alone with the two cats. And I would hear occasionally between 3 and 4 a.m. a metallic tapping on the bedroom window. Well, I couldn't sleep. I'd stay up until after 4:30 a.m. or so to make sure the tapping stopped. And then I started hearing bees in the bedroom vent. I maintenance checked for bees, and I had maintenance check for bees, and they said nothing was in there. Sometime later on a weekend when my husband was home and able to sleep with me, I woke up and noticed what appeared to be a large upside-down bat with red eyes. I woke him up and told him to look, and he said he didn't see anything, although my husband did hear the bees in the vents and the tapping on the bedroom window. Ugh, that's creepy. And there's some mappage for you. And we just watched the 2024 Mothman episode, which noted Rockford, Illinois, and there were definitely negative vibes there. I grew up in the small town of Heron, Illinois, and my husband is from Antioch, Illinois. And we only lived in the Rockford from 2010 to 14 in the same apartment. I've ruled out a person, foliage, trash, and animals from the noises. The huge bat in my doorway was a paranormal being. I figure if there were larger winged humanoid creatures, there are probably smaller ones. And I only saw it one time, thankfully. I blinked, rubbed my eyes to make sure what I was seeing before waking my hubby. I covered my head and told myself that it was nothing. But I saw something. So I don't know how big was it that she saw. She said smaller. Yeah. She made reference to a smaller one, but she doesn't really say how big it was.
It's always more details.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would want to know is what were these extra details?
You can never put too many details. Like if you're telling a story that's paranormal, you can never put too many details.
Well, you know, and that's what I like to cover when I do interviews with people is just like those questions. Like, well, how big was it? And where did you see it? You said in your doorway. What doorway? Inside the house or on a patio doorway? What were you seeing? Where was it? Because, you know, is it in the apartment or was it just looking in the apartment? I mean, I just have so many questions.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack from that one. And Lon says, note, we've received reports from other winged humanoid witnesses that include other unexplained supernatural aspects of these beings, including observations of them in a home or other indoor location as well. There have been a few instances where the being would simply vanish or manifest. The Rockford, Illinois area experiences several supernatural related experiences involving winged humanoids. That was from Lon. Mm-hmm. And then he's got a link here also, and this will be on the bottom of the article if any of you have sightings, how to go about reporting them.
I wonder if this is maybe where the depiction of demons, the winged demons, came from.
Yeah, I don't know. It certainly could be. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question, actually. I don't know. I mean, it's certainly a classical depiction of demons, but is it accurate to a demon or is it something like this? That might be something else. Again,
it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to say, but
yeah.
That is nightmare fuel, though. I will say that.
Oh yeah. God, yeah. Could you just
seeing that in your doorway staring at you? Oh my God.
Yeah, I just don't know what I would do. I mean. How could you know? I mean, I guess I would be, absolutely having to go scrape my underwear. That's just.
Yeah, because there's a difference between ghostly beings that, you know, there's noises, there's stuff moving around your house, but it's, you know, it's an invisible, most of the time, non-physical being in a way.
Yeah. You know.
But then you have a physical thing right there that's in the physical, you know, realm. That's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's actually standing there taking up space, and it's like, you know, you're seeing it.
Yeah,
so
it's there.
Yeah,
right there.
That would be horrible. Yeah, I can't imagine there'd be any happy way to look at that. Oh, thanks for stopping by. What's going on?
that would cross the line.
That would cross the line. That's one of those. Yeah, that's one of those. You know, just be careful because you have no idea what they want, what they're doing. Ugh. Well, hello there.
Someone trying to cross the line.
Well, apparently they're standing right next to me, like literally right next to me, according to the ghost radar. So if it is indeed a paranormal presence, maybe. It's been real quiet. The ghost radar's been real quiet for a long time. Yeah. Which is that's kind of contrary to the popular Halloween belief that it's supposedly easier for them to come through. But they just don't seem to be stopping here if they are. They're like, oh, yeah, we're there all the time. Let's go check out other stuff now that we can. You never know. All right. Let's go to the next story because it is 8:33. Wow. The night is flying by.
Time is moving really fast.
This one's more of a spiritual one. I think I'll read this one tomorrow night. That'll be there's the question of the week as well tomorrow night. Okay. Yeah, we'll read this one tomorrow night because it's having to do with a ghostly visitor. And this is another one that I pulled up that I definitely want to visit. Here's one that sounds incredibly interesting. This is from October 21st, 2024 from phantomsandmonsters.com. Man transforms into huge canine. What did we encounter?
Ooh, werewolf story?
It sounds like it. I mean, at least a skinwalker type of story or werewolf or something of the sort. A Michigan man and his daughter are driving to a camping destination when they see a man in the middle of the road during a heavy rainfall. Then the man transforms into a huge canine. Ugh. That's just not what you want to see when you're on a dark country road.
Ooh, that's Twilight level stuff.
Yeah. That's okay. The sparkly vampires are just around the corner. They're keeping us safe. I received the following accounts. I was on my way to go camping and had just crossed the Mackinac Bridge to get into Michigan's Upper Peninsula. It was storming and just started pouring buckets of rain. It was the kind of rain that forces you to put the windshield wipers on full speed, and you still have to slow way down and strain your eyes to actually see. While driving up a hill with my daughter and I saw a man standing in the middle of the road. Well, there wasn't a great deal of visibility with the sheets of rain, but we both pointed out the man standing in the middle of the road, and we were worried he was going to get hit by a car. He turned and bent, and then it was not a man. It was a huge black dog. I wonder if it was a dog man, but they just saw it standing bipedally, and they figured it's a man, and then it got down. We both thought it was a man at first, and then it was a dog, and I can't explain it. It could have just been the combination of looking up from the bottom of the hill and the rain. I just think it is odd that my daughter and I both thought we saw a man standing up at first, and then it was a dog. I stopped on one side of the road to help it, and so did a man on the other side in a truck. I am a dog groomer and always have slip leads in the truck. I love dogs and always stop to help when I see one on the road, but I hope that someone else would be able to help because my truck was stuffed with camping stuff, and the only place it could go in my truck would have been the front seat with my daughter and me. Yeah, that's not a good idea, ever. Mm-hmm. Not an unknown animal, Jesus. It was still in the middle of the road, looking back and forth between the man and myself. I was a bit surprised to see how big it was up close. I also felt uneasy and intimidated by this animal. It looked almost like a black German Shepherd, but much bigger, but also wolf-like. I've been around a lot of big dogs in my profession, and if I had to guess what breed it was, I would say a wolf hybrid. Yeah, they can get enormous. The guy yelled over asking if it was my dog, and I yelled back, no. Well, the dog was still in the middle of the road looking back and forth between the man and me. In my head, I was repeating, don't pick me, don't pick me, over and over because I had no room in my truck and didn't want a giant strange dog that I thought was a person at first and next to my child, and it gave me the creeps. The man yelled, here, boy, and patted his leg, and the dog ran off to him. Seeing the dog was being taken care of, I got back into my truck and got back on the road towards our camping destination. My daughter was telling me how it looked like a person standing in the road, and then when it turned, it was a dog. And we were both very confused. If it had just been me, I would think it was the driving rain and my imagination, but my daughter saw it as well. It may not be paranormal, but it was definitely an interesting experience. Huh. I gotta wonder if it was that big, if it was all black like that. And remember, they're out in the sheets of rain. And so, it looked like a dog. But what if it was a dog, man, standing there? I was like, oh, better get down. I'm going to have to move here. But then when the guy calls it goes over there like, all right. You wonder if that guy just disappeared. Who was that guy? That's pretty creepy. Interesting, though. Could it be a skinwalker? Could it be a dog man that was just misinterpreted as a man because it was bipedal for a segment there? I don't know.
I mean, if you were stopped, as far as the depiction of dog man, you'd be able to, being that close to it, you'd be able to tell. Like, they don't have paws; they have kind of as far as how they're depicted, it's like
fingers. Yeah, they
claw things, right?
Taloned fingers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't think you'd get that.
Yeah, probably not. I guess if it was, I don't know. It's anybody's guess. I don't know. It's all speculative because again, they were seeing this through the pouring rain, and maybe they were just so focused on the head of it. Like, what's it going to do? What's it? Is it dangerous? Is it domesticated? Is it a wolf? Any number of those things. And so maybe they weren't really focused on the hands. I don't know. When you get tense, you just get kind of a tunnel vision. Like you like hyper focus on what's it going to do? What's it going to do? And you don't really get the whole wide view of, but what does it look like? You know, is there anything weird about this?
Well, I mean, if I was in that scenario, I'd be studying it. Like, okay, let's look at its paws.
Would you?
Are those paws or are those hands? I just saw a guy a second ago. Like, let's look at these details here. You know, that's what I'd be doing.
Well, you got to wonder if they had a belief in that kind of stuff prior to seeing this, or is this just something they saw and then they just started looking like, what the hell could that be? Because it looked like a guy and then it was a dog, and maybe that's what led them into the rabbit hole. So they might be brand new to this world. You know, like that was their first real experience. I don't know. Again, it's speculative and we can't ask the questions, but I'd have a ton of questions for this person if I could talk to them. Like, well, did you notice the paws? Were they paws, or did the legs look peculiar at all? The paws or hands, or, any other anomalous things? I don't know. Apparently it just looked like a big black German Shepherd, which is already unnerving.
Yeah, no kidding.
Especially a dog you don't know. I mean, that's the part. It's like, well, this dog might hate people. You never know. If it is a dog, and if it's a wolf, then you have no business getting out and trying to call it over.
No.
Come here, boy. Yeah, no, don't do that. But anyway, interesting story. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah.
There's another kind of a happier one. It's a praying angel story. I don't want to read that one yet though. Maybe tomorrow night. We'll do a couple non-creature ones, but since we're in the cryptid corner, here's one from October 19th, phantomsandmonsters.com. I just love what Lon does over here. He's just got so many cool stories. Antlered human-like figure seen in Itasca County, Minnesota church window.
Woo! Skull.
Skull. All right, this is your neck of the woods, Sheldon. Formerly my neck of the woods, but now it's yours. You're in charge of Minnesota in my absence.
I guard it, yes.
A group of friends is driving to Minnesota to spend a week at a cabin that they frequent annually. On the way near the cabin, the driver observes an antlered being in the window of a church. Jeez. It's not what you generally like to see in your church windows.
Oh my God.
Anything with antlers in a church window, unless it's a deer, if it's standing up in a church window, that's a bad thing.
No.
I received the following account. Hi, Lon. Thanks for allowing me to send you my story. Every year, my 5 friends and I from high school make a trip up to my family's cabin in Itasca County, Minnesota, to spend the week drinking, fishing, playing cards, and getting into some shenanigans. And we started this tradition after our senior year of high school and have kept it up ever since. The very first year we went, we all took a minivan from Arizona up to the lake. God, that's a long drive. We usually stopped in Denver, Colorado for the first night to make the 17-hour drive up to the lake the next day. That's a lot of road. On the second day of the drive, it was 1 a.m. in the morning, and we were about an hour away from the cabin, and it had just rained, and the road was extremely foggy, and we could hardly see 10 yards in front of the van. On the final stretch, we come around a corner, and we see a giant cross glowing in the distance. In that foggy lighting, with little to no sleep, and after 16 hours in the car, the sight of a cross in the distance was ominous, to say the least. As we drive, we pass the cross, and we see a rundown, decrepit church lit up by the light of the cross. My friends will deny it to this day, but I can swear that I saw a light turn on in the church as I drove past, and in the window I saw a human-like figure with antlers on its head. I wasn't tired, and the long drive hadn't affected me. I was freaked out and wanted to get as far away from that church as possible, but couldn't drive away quickly because of the fog and the fact that deer were jumping into the road every few minutes. We ended up making it to the cabin safely, but every time I think back to that drive, I get the chills. What do you believe I saw? So Lon has a note here. It says some people would immediately say the witness observed a Wendigo. I'm not sure if that's what this was. The Ojibwe people, who are natives to the area, have traditional lore about deer women who are harbingers of vengeance. The fact that this entity was seen in the window of a church is interesting. Very weird account. Yeah, it is. I mean,
I think this may be the first time I've ever heard of a human-like figure with antlers.
oh yeah, the deer woman legend goes way, way back. I've heard of that before. I didn't know that it was a spirit of vengeance or harbinger of vengeance, so to speak, but that's new information to me. But yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I don't know that it was a female character or not. It just says humanoid, but still. It was a decrepit church. It wasn't a destroyed church. It was like kind of a maybe abandoned or just dilapidated building.
Oh.
So because I just saw that Annie said destroyed. It wasn't destroyed, but it was not in the best of shape.
Not taken care of.
Not really, by the sounds of it. No. But cool story. Very cool story.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right. You see why it's so amazing to tune in every time we do a live show? You just never know what you're going to get in every episode.
Learning new things all the time.
All the time. That's what we do here on the portal. We just do new stuff all the time. And thank God for like Phantoms and Monsters and Sasquatch Chronicles and all these other sites, because they keep giving us new stuff to talk about. God bless them. They're doing the Lord's work. They're doing the Lord's work, Sheldon.
They sure are.
Here's another one. This was probably the last story we're going to do, but this is 3 upright female cryptid canines encountered in Greene County, Pennsylvania. Wonder how you knew they're female. I don't know what are cryptid canines? How do you, I mean, do they have like engorge, breasties or whatever? I don't know what you call it on a dog when they got like 6 of those things, but they're not really like breasts. What do you call them? I don't know.
I'm at a loss.
I'm at a loss too. So I just said breasties. I don't know if that's right.
You're mixing 2 different things together that aren't similar.
Oh, Wizard Moon says teats, and so does
Teats.
Nathan Nate. Okay. We'll call them teats. Do they have engorged teats or what's going on here? I don't know. Do I look like a biologist to you people? Come on. I don't know this stuff. I just know they got these saggy little testicle looking things under them in rows. There's like 6 or 8 of them. I don't know. When they got, pups. I mean, other than that, how could you tell?
Not wrong.
I don't know.
Yes.
All right, let's check out this story before it just gets more stupid.
Yeah.
A Rogersville, Pennsylvania witness with his 2 brothers describes a bizarre encounter with 3 supposed dog women. One of the brothers approaches the beasts and feeds them. Wow, what?
Wait, what?
Who the hell would do that? You gotta really have a death wish. I recently received the following wild account. Well, let's see what's going on here. We got to find out now. I got to take a drink. This is unbelievable. I had a run-in with dog women when I was 15. I'm 29, so I want to place the year at about 2011. This took place in Rogersville, Pennsylvania, Greene County. We lived in a double wide that my parents had converted into a little cozy home, complete with a basement. And the only neighbors we had at the time were the high school, which was literally walking distance down the road, and a farmer further up on the other end of the road. We've lived in a pretty rural area most of our lives. Behind our house is a thick, dense woods. In front of our house was a big yard with what? Pampas grass? I'm not sure what pampas grass is. Pampas grass bush down by the driveway. And to the side of our house was an open field with lush green grass and an apple tree. And there was also a creek and a stone bridge that was attached to our driveway. This was in the middle of winter, and we're right in the middle of Christmas break from school. Christmas is literally just days away. My mom worked overnight as an LPN and Dad worked overnight as a fuel truck dispatcher, so my brothers Zach, Wyatt, and I had the whole house to ourselves for the night. I was in the living room watching Larva on my laptop and on a TV tray in front of our living room recliner, feeling a little pooped. I don't know what Larva is. But I had just worked my butt off at weightlifting practice and had just got home. Excuse me. My brother Zach was lying on the couch. He had a rerun of Lost tapes on the big screen TV in our living room. He's been big into paranormal since we were little kids. All around him, he was having an absolute junk food buffet. On either hand were both halves of a huge meatball hoagie from the little convenience store in town. 2 more hoagies on the coffee table in front of him. He was 250 pounds and in a heavyweight class in wrestling, so he was allowed to indulge a bit. I was at 170 pounds and had to work my butt off to keep my lean and mean athlete physique. Wyatt was in his room playing Kirby Mass Attack on his Nintendo DS. He didn't do any sports, so he was usually home before us or was at play practice. He was a big theater kid. Well, halfway through my episode of Larva, my brother Zach lets out the biggest gasp of excitement. He just gets a big smile on his face, sits up on the couch, and starts getting giddy. I ask him what's got him so excited. He just points at the living room window without saying a word. I turned around in the recliner to see what he was looking at, and my eyes felt like they were about to bulge out Looney Tunes style. Standing on our porch was just a beast of a dog woman with her face smooshed up against the window. Well, I watched enough Monster Quest and other paranormal shows with my brother Zach to know what every cryptid is supposed to look like by heart at this point. Her hot breath fogged up the window. Her bright blue eyes locked right on the junk food buffet Zach had going on. Her legs were super muscular. Imagine the big muscly legs, quads of some of those female bodybuilders. And then double that. Her biceps even had biceps. Very big chested, very big breasted. Okay, they had breasties, not testes.
My God.
Super strong looking stomach too. It must be 7 to 8 feet tall. Her head about scraping up our porch awning. She had to kneel down a good bit. She had silver gray bushy fur like a coyote. Her eyes were blue though. I'm just sitting there on the verge of a full breakdown at what is happening. My heart beating wildly in my chest, about to just bust out of my chest with how fast it's beating. Well, Zach asked if it wanted a snack, even shaking both halves of the meatball hoagie in the air a bit. To my surprise, this beast let out a begging sound and actually gave puppy dog eyes, like a dog does when it sees you eating dinner. He gets up, grabs the other hoagies, they were a pepperoni pizza sub, and runs to the kitchen to grab some of the massive mounds of packs of hot dogs in our fridge. There was a big sale on them. Mom and Dad had gone hunting crazy and bought a bunch for some reason that week, even though we probably wouldn't use them all up in time before they went bad. I look at him like he's out of his mind because I know he's about to go out there. I get up to follow him, and I keep yelling and yelling at him, "Do not do what I think he is about to do." Now, all this commotion lured Wyatt out of his room. He's asking what the hell's going on. He quickly put 2 and 2 together and tried to help me hold Zach back from bull rushing the door, fearing nothing at the moment, I guess like any sane person would. But sadly, he outweighed both of us, with Wyatt being much bigger than me at 160 pounds. He was easily barreled past and ran out on the porch wearing nothing but his Star Wars t-shirt, some pajamas, and a pair of slippers. We huddled up against the living room window, fully prepared to watch our beloved brother be mauled by a monster before our eyes. and us not being able to stop it. But to our surprise, it never happened. He just kept going, Dalton, Wyatt, this is the best day ever. As he was feeding this thing hot dogs from one of the packs of hot dogs. It just catches them in the air with its mouth like a dog. And me and Wyatt both yelled at him to get his butt back in the house. To our horror, Zach's excitement, two more dog women emerged from either side of the house and came up to the porch, also begging for a snack. They were smaller than the first one, only coming up to about the first one's shoulders. These two were also very big-chested, very big-breasted. The one was plump, with some very muscular, powerful legs, but nothing anywhere like the first one had. And the other one was on the slim, lean side, and they had grayish-brown fur with reddish tinges behind the ears and around the face. And they, however, had eyes like a coyote, the yellowish-brown eyes. We're really pounding on the living room window and yelling at him to come back inside now. Zach's just having a ball out there. The first one had gobbed down all 3 subs in nearly a single bite. So he's down to tossing hot dogs like crazy. And they were getting pretty antsy too. They kept making these weird screams like you hear them make on online videos at him. They were letting him pet them, but I can't stress enough, my brother was literally mere inches from a grisly death. They were making these just unholy sounding growling sounds and snapping at the air at each other when one would get too many hot dogs. Zach's hand nearly got snapped a time or two from this. They even pawed at the air in front of his face to get his attention when he focused on one for too long, almost slashing his face to shreds if they would have pawed closer. Well, Zach didn't seem to mind, though. He was having a blast. Eventually, the loud roar of a snowplow truck coming down the road plowing snow noisily would scare them off, and it's a good thing, too. He was nearly out of hot dogs. The 3 of them took off into the field as fast as the wind. We couldn't keep track of them, but they were so fast. They were like blurs. Wyatt and I gave Zach a good brotherly butt kicking when he got back inside. All right, here's Lon's note. When I first read the report, I was a bit suspicious, but after further inquiry, I actually believe the witness. Greene County, Pennsylvania is well known for cryptid canine activity, and I've heard and read several bizarre and curious accounts from that area over the years. Here are some of the examples. I think I'm going to leave this open and check out some of these other examples that Lon has posted because I find that fascinating. Wow. Again, Lon, I got to give him a lot of credit. He does vet these things. So I'm not saying everything he posts is legitimate. I know he sometimes can't vet them. But if he talked to these guys and they corroborated this story, then I don't know. What do you do? What do you think, Sheldon?
I'm with Lon's first instinct of
Yeah.
suspicious. I mean, the area might be known for these things, but I mean, it's just too fantastical,
The other side of it is that I don't care how much you're into this stuff, and I'm into it a whole bunch, but I think if I saw a big dog man leaning his face against my window, the last thing is that I'm thinking is, let me grab some hot dogs and give him a snack.
Yeah, no, that's what's really throwing me off. Like,
I mean, who would
No,
willingly put themselves in harm's way?
no, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't get there with this one.
Okay, well that's fair enough.
Can't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it could be, it's possible, but I just
yeah. Tommy Cooper says
even the initial instinct of them.
yeah.
Like, really, your instinct to go out there with this, like this mythical creature right there, it's like, no.
Well, this big unknown creature. It's like, what do they eat? Well, maybe people. Maybe they weren't really interested in the hoagies as much as the big pork chop sitting there watching TV. They're like, hey, that's a buffet right there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I just don't think I would ever get to the point where it's like, hey, let's go throw some food at it.
No.
So I don't know how he got to that place mentally. Like, you can be into something and be fascinated with it, be compelled by it, be totally motivated to understand more. But do you go into an open area with them and start throwing wieners at them?
No,
I just think that's a bad
I can't.
bad idea anyway. But can it happen? I don't know. I don't know what kind of mentality this guy's working with, but as much as I'm into this stuff, that's not where I would go mentally. I would just be like, close the curtains, let's shut off the lights, let's just hunker down and hope for the best. I don't know.
I mean, once your initial instinct be like shock, like, oh my God, what am I looking at? Like,
Yeah.
when the first thing your mind come to, like, the Underworld series of Werewolf, like, no way. I ain't
Yeah.
going there.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
mean,
like,
that's
oh,
just it. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
No.
I got to admit, this one's a hard one to grab onto for me too, but
Yep.
Tommy said, what did I say? Tommy said, I got to scroll back up. I think he said that Greene County is one of the most reported counties in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, it's not impossible. It's just, to me on the outside looking in, it seems improbable, but again, I do trust Lon. I know that Lon looks into this stuff as much as he's able to. So if he talked to them and still walked away going, oh, maybe that's real. I don't know what that discussion was like, but maybe just from their tone, their sincerity, whatever. But interesting story anyway. The first like that I've ever heard. And I do appreciate that. Could it be real? Yeah, I guess. It could be. Could it be fabricated? Yeah, I guess. Could be. So you got to kind of be the judge on this one, folks. I don't know. I think it's interesting, though. Could be. But I know that it is time to wrap up this episode of the Paranormal Portal. Sheldon, anything in closing, sir?
Absolutely, guys. If anybody's new here, doesn't know,
Okay, wait. Hold on. Leg spikes. Go ahead. Try again. Yeah.
well, if anybody's new here, please check out paranormalportal.net, the home base for the Paranormal Portal. We can stay up to date on all new episodes when we're going live. And with the feature of the interim view me button right on the website, where if you have any amazing encounters, feel free to schedule your very own interview with Dad. Very easy to talk to, by the way. And also, I'll put it, I know there's a link in the description, I believe, but I'll put one right in the chat here of the Discord. Great discussions, great community. Well, actually, sorry, an amazing community. But
Yeah.
with lots of discussion boards for lots of discussion right up there. So
Yeah.
feel free to check it out, guys.
And tune in tomorrow night because we'll go through the Discord question of the week where our good friend, Mr. Chucky Danger, posts a question to all of you who are members of the Discord. And you can weigh in on your thoughts on that question of the week. So look for the question of the week thread on the Discord. Check it out and get involved over on Discord if you would, please. It continues to grow. New people are showing up all the time. So God bless y'all. Appreciate it. And we're going to be doing more t-shirt drawings this next week as well. So I hope you guys get into that. But if you're a member of the Discord, you get a shot at it. And if you're a member of the YouTube channel members, you get a shot at a t-shirt as well. So please consider that. And both are wonderful ways to become part of the show and to help the show. And by all means, if the Discord costs you nothing. So that's absolutely free, and you're welcome to join that community. But there's lots of ways to help the show, and not everybody can help out financially. I get that completely. A lot of us are just making ends meet. So I just hope that, for any of you that aren't able to become members or whatever, if you want to help the show, just like the streams and recommend the streams. Put show links on different social media sites where you think people might appreciate it. That helps us an incredible amount. Do an interview. I did. And it was awesome. Thanks, Neil. I appreciate that, Neil. Appreciate your vote, sir. But that's going to wrap it up for tonight. So until tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, we do these live shows every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Love to have you show up for those. And we're going to call it a night. So that's all I got for you guys. So you guys take care. Remember, be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out. Find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. And that's going to do it for us. We'll talk to you next time, guys. Tomorrow night, right here, wherever you're watching now, 7 p.m. I'll be here. I'll be waiting for you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
And a special hello to my cousin Paul in Tennessee. Good night, everybody.